Hello, everyone, and welcome to Marked by God. Today, I want to bring up an old topic, something that we've talked about in our Google Hangouts before, that many of our non-believing friends out there don't like talking about so much no more with us. Instead, they do it from a distance. And I want to talk about this idea of, does Christianity make you stupid, or does it make you dumb? Does it prevent you from thinking? Does it prevent you from thinking critically? Does it prevent you from solving problems? Things along that nature. I got a couple of videos I want you guys to look at where these claims are actually being made or being suggested with propaganda videos anyway. Or with videos that people are expressing, using their freedom of speech and talking about things I don't think they fully understand. But I was thinking about this because I went out to go get me something to eat, and while I was coming back home, I was thinking about that. I was like, why do these people think that you're dumb because, actually, okay, before I even talk about that, let me tell you how I started thinking about these things when I was walking to the store. I went outside, and it's very clear. It's very clear in the sky and whatnot. And I looked up and I saw the stars. I saw Orion's belt. I saw some constellations and everything and whatnot. And I was thinking about some of the flat Earth claims. Was thinking about, is it possible these things are in the atmosphere and all these other things and whatnot. These things I was actually thinking about on the way home. And then I don't know where the thought came into my head where many people are calling religious people stupid, calling us dumb, saying that religion itself makes you dumb. And you're going to hear the claims for yourself in a minute, so I'm not making this up. And when I got in here, I said, I'm going to do a show on this because it's going to further prove what I've been saying about these folk here on the internet who claim that they're educated, but they're not. Because there's no way in the world you're educated and you have all this knowledge. You know what I mean? You come to the conclusion that religious people are stupid. And like I said, I'll prove that like that. And if one of them was in the room with me, I'll prove it like that. You just don't know. It's not even going to be 5 minutes. So let's hear the claim first, ladies and gents. If you want to come in the room when I finish with the show or whatever, feel free to come in. Pillbox, I will give you a link to come in when I'm finished if you want to come in. But let me show you guys the first video that I'm talking about. This first video is about 5 years old, and it was made by D News. All right. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about here. Before I get started, I'd like to give my Lord and my Savior, Jesus Christ, a shout out. And just let him know that I give him thanks for giving me this opportunity to use this medium to be able to talk about these things. Because the enemy is using the medium, so we need to use this medium as well, this medium of the internet, to be able to expose these liars. So let me see something here. I'm going to present this to everybody. What I'm going to do is I'm going to play this video. I want you guys to hear this with your own 2 ears. I want you to listen to these claims made by this gentleman here on D News.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's a battle of the Bibles, though only one of the groups showed up with a Bible because the other group is atheists. Hey people, Trace here reporting for D News. As a science show, we don't often talk about religion, but when we do, it's because there's research to back it up. Data. Religion is on the decline in the United States, with a poll by Gallup showing the number of Americans who attend regular religious services is decreasing, and a separate poll published by Slate showing members of Congress are even coming out as non-religious now. We're not...
Okay, so I want to make sure that people understand something, that this video was made about 5 years ago. This was made in 2013. All right. Let me show you something here. They have links here for their so-called research here that they've done, if you want to look into it. But obviously, if you've been watching me for any period of time, I believe this is nonsense. And I think the 9,000 dislikes that they got on this video was well worth it, because things that's said in this video are just stupid. And I'm going to explain why soon.
Up to 10 out of 535, which is a lot, because in 1980 we had 0. With that in mind, a study released from the University of Rochester this month states that those who are non-religious likely have higher levels of intelligence. The three psychologists define intelligence as the ability to reason, plan, solve problems, think abstractly, comprehend complex ideas, learn quickly, and learn from experience.
So remember, if you actually believe that a God exists, or you practice, let's use his words actually, because he didn't say religion. He didn't say that you believe that a God exists. He said religious and religion, whatnot, right? So if you have a religion, you're more likely. Atheists are more likely to be able to learn more quickly. They'll be able to reason. They'll be able to problem solve. They'll be able to do stuff a whole lot better than a person who practices a religion. Okay, most of the people watching this right now should be face palming this guy into oblivion because he doesn't even know what he's saying. And when I start naming religions, and no, I'm not going to say atheism is a religion, even though we already know what it is. But I'm not even going to name atheism. I'm going to show them how ridiculously stupid what he's saying is right now. And remember, he brought up politicians saying that some politicians are coming out saying that they're non-religious. He actually gives you a number for it too, as he goes on in the video. But since he brought up politicians, this is going to be really easy. Anyway, let's keep playing this.
They looked at 63 different studies spanning at least 84 years of scientific research. 35 of the studies indicated significant negative correlations between theism and intelligence. Only 2 found a positive correlation. What does this mean? While higher intelligence has been linked to success at work and satisfaction in marriage, conversely, a study from the University of Illinois found religious people in religious societies or difficult circumstances were happier overall. However, the same study found that secular societies were usually wealthier with more social support systems. So,
okay. So let's deal with the politicians first that he brought up, because he brought up like what he showed on there was like the Senate or the Congress or whatever on there, and he claims that those people are he claims that those studies show that that a lot of them are coming out as being non-religious and whatnot, right? I got news for atheists who totally only go by surveys and only go by these stats that they look at, and they can call it data till they're blue in the face. But when I say these people are ignorant, they're ignorant. Most of the people that we see in politics are either Catholic in their beliefs. Some of them may be Protestant, but the vast majority of these people that you see in office today are Luciferians. And I don't know if your mama told you this, your daddy told you this, or your teacher told you this or whatever, or didn't tell you this rather. But Luciferianism is a religion. Okay, just because they don't worship the God of the Bible doesn't mean that they're not religious. It's like a Buddhist. You would never say a Buddhist doesn't worship a God, but a Buddhist is religious. Are you trying to say that Buddhists aren't very smart? Or how about we look at the people that are in our very own community? Fiona Robertson has a PhD, according to you guys. Does that mean that she can't think quickly? Does that mean that she is unintelligent? Evangelist Ken, are you prepared to call him an idiot and a moron? The guy has a college education. Are you willing to call William Lane Craig an idiot? He went to college and he graduated. Man's got a PhD. So you can say these people are dumb from a distance. You'll never do that while you're in the room with them. You'll never do that then. Because then you run the risk of looking like a fool doing something like that. But anyway, let's play some more of this video. Again, this D News thing here is a joke. I've debunked this D News nonsense on multiple times on GTV. But anyway, let me play some more of this.
So which is better, theism or non-theism? My friend Talal Al-Khatib of DiscoveryNews.com created a great list.
Oh, I'm sorry. And I actually forgot something. He talked about how atheist societies seems to be more wealthier. Well, let me see something here. Do we have an atheist society in history somewhere? Joseph Stalin was the leader of an atheist society, and he murdered millions of his own people. He starved to death his own people. Don't give me this garbage that, in Europe, these countries in Europe are very non-religious. Now, let's define some terms here, ladies and gents. Whenever you hear atheists using the word religion, they're not even talking about Islam. They're talking about Christianity at this point. As a matter of fact, I don't even think they're talking about Roman Catholicism. I think they're just talking about Protestant Christians when they're saying that, when they're using the term religion. You know what I mean? So what they're basically saying is that most of Europe isn't Christian, therefore they're atheistic. That's stupid. You can be a pagan and be religious. You can be a Luciferian and be religious. You can be a Satanist and be religious. And again, all they can do is go on Google and go to their man-made, flawed stats that they're going to look at. And they're going to say, well, you know, in this European country, it's only like 2% Christians in here. I'm sorry, 2% religious people there. And in this European nation, there's only like about 5% of religious people there. As a matter of fact, we might actually look at that before this video is over. But the point of the matter is that that's what they'll do, ignoring the fact that there are people who still practice their religious beliefs, but don't go to a building. They'll lie on the census a lot of times when they'll ask them, are you a Christian? Are you a non-believer or whatever? They'll do that on purpose because of persecution and the possible attacks that they can get because of that. They don't take those things into account. So when he goes, ooh, data, he makes himself look stupid when he does that, because I don't think, and I've said this, I've been saying this on YouTube for the longest time, I do not believe that atheists understand what religion is. I truly, truly, truly believe these people don't got the foggiest idea what religion is or what a religion is. Because if they did, they wouldn't be so quick to say stupid stuff like this.
Comparing who would win in a battle for the better life. Crime is a big one for the religious people in our society. According to Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy, religion and morality has been closely linked since ancient times.
Okay, so this is the age-old argument that they use that, okay, there are more religious people in this country that commit crimes than there are non-religious people. I don't know if I should, I'm going to try to be as nice as possible when I say this, but this is going to be a news flash to those of you out there who are atheists and are looking and desperately trying to find a way to justify your atheism. If you have a society where 90% of the people in there are religious, I'm sorry, not 90, I'm giving you guys way too much credit. If you have a society where 99.9999999% of the people in that particular society is religious, and then that little puny little point something there is supposed to be quote unquote non-religious, of course they're going to commit more crimes. And when we're talking about religion, let's be specific. We're talking about Islam, people who profess to be Christians. Okay, we're talking about New Agers, Luciferians, Satanists, Hindus, Buddhists, and the various other different religions that's out there. What are there? What is there, like between 4,000 and 16,000 different religions out there? It's just stupid for them to even use that as a stat. That's like them saying that that in the United States of America, that more men, that men commit more crimes than roaches do. Actually, no, that's a bad example. That's like saying that. As a matter of fact, I have to think of a good analogy, because the other analogy I was going to bring up wasn't going to be any better. So let's continue with the video here and listen to some more of this nonsense.
With many people believing that morality is sort of created by religion, or at least supported by it. A University of Oregon psychology professor did discover higher levels of religion in a country can also mean lower crime. Other research shows the presence of spiritual support improves mental health and recovery from chronic illnesses. However, it's not all angels and harps. Upon getting to the afterlife, a religious person may have trouble fitting into their robe because religion can make you fat. Seriously, according to a study by Northwestern, religious young adults were more likely to be obese than their non-religious counterparts.
Woo! Okay. Again, this goes back into what I just said. Obviously, there's more religious people in this country than there are non-religious people. And yes, it's safe to say that 99.9999999% of the people in this country are religious, and an insanely low amount of people in this country are quote unquote non-religious. This is just a dumb argument. But 50 to 60% of this country is obese. That much is true. Obviously, 50 to 60% of the country is obese, and most of the country is religious anyway. Well, like a duh. He's not saying anything. Now, I want to talk about how religion makes you obese, because I want to talk about this for a minute. Let's start off with like Islam. Okay, Islam practices the people that are Muslims. They are particularly careful about what they eat. They don't eat pork. They don't eat certain foods, and they believe in fasting just like Christians do. They might fast for different reasons than I would, but the point of the matter is Christians will go anywhere between 6 hours to a week or even a month without eating anything, from sun up to sundown, eating or drinking anything. That requires a lot of discipline to do that. Okay, so if you're a quote unquote non-religious person, as this person says, which is ridiculous because there's no such thing. But anyway, if you're a quote unquote person who's a non-religious person, what's your restriction? What's stopping you from eating anything that you see in front of you? I can screen share at least 30 people in my community alone that can really use a diet that are quote unquote non-religious. I even got this one moron in this community that says that diet and exercise will not prevent you from getting cancer. Obviously, he's not a big advocate for taking care of your body. Again, listening to this kind of stuff right here will just have you just scratching your head, because a lot of the things that he's saying in this video is just pure nonsense. And just to put this out there too, to say that, so that people don't think I'm trying to be one-sided about this, there are a lot of unhappy religious people out there. I'm going to say this again. There are a lot of unhappy religious people out there. Some people are only in the position, some people only practice their particular beliefs because they're being forced to by their parents. It's like they're claiming to be smarter than everybody, but in reality, you can tell by listening to these people who do this research and everything and whatnot, they know little to nothing about the topic. It's amazing.
Plus, those who believe without church going there'd be no charity are completely off their rocker. In fact, a study by UC Berkeley found atheists, agnostics, and less religious people are driven by compassion.
Well, I don't believe that that non-church going people don't have compassion. What I believe is that you have people who are non-religious, according to this guy, who are sinners, who do good things. That's what I believe, and that is my claim. I would never come to you and say that a non-believer is incapable of doing anything that is good. No, they're still wicked and they're still evil. They're still sinners who are capable of doing good things. But again, don't try to make it sound like that even the good things that they do does not involve God, because a lot of times these people are using their religious roots to do the good that they do, because they don't have a basis for determining whether or not what they're doing is good or bad.
To help those in need fairly often. So it would seem, though, religious...
And by the way, if anybody out there disagrees with me, ask for the link, and then let's see how you do in a conversation about it.
Might be happier and crime-free, they'll also be more obese, and their non-religious friends will be more successful and charitable, but might suffer from some chronic illnesses. It seems to me that nobody is winning this battle. I'm pretty sure I don't need to ask you all a question to get you talking about this one, but we will put a link down below for the full...
Okay, so this is video number one. I'll show you video number two, and this one deals with Richard Dawkins. He says creationists know nothing. So let's watch this video. This is another militant, ignorant atheist that believes that if you are religious or you're a Christian or whatever, that you know nothing.
Look at the history of religion and be fascinated by it, just as we look at the history of art and so on. But I don't think that religion has anything useful to teach us.
And what I would say to Richard Dawkins or to any atheist that believe this is, let's start off with this. Which religion do you believe don't have anything to teach you? Would it be Christianity? Would it be Islam, Luciferianism, Satanism? Because the last time I checked, see, and I bring up LaVeyan Satanism for a reason. The people that populate that particular religion are atheists. They claim to be atheists, while claiming to be God as well. But we'll save that for another day. But the point of the matter is, are you trying to tell me that a Satanist can't teach you anything, Richard Dawkins? Because the last time I checked, they believed in evolution. They believed in Big Bang cosmology. They believed in a lot of that stuff. You might want to be careful what you say and be a little bit more specific about what you're saying. Again, this is just stupid things that come out of these people's mouths without them thinking first. But then want to claim that you don't know anything. It's just hilarious. And by the way, one of the things that I know that Richard Dawkins and a lot of these atheists can learn from a person like Jesus is to learn how to deny themselves. They can learn from Jesus how to be loving, because a lot of these atheists really stink at doing that. Like when I say they're terrible, they're terrible. They can learn how to judge righteously from Jesus. Don't give me this garbage that you can't learn nothing from a religion or a religious belief. It's like these people want to sound like they're deep and like they're offering like this deep thought about something and whatnot. But in reality, you can tell they never really sat down and thought about the stuff that is coming out of their mouth.
One of the main reasons why people are religious is because they're persuaded by the apparent design of living things. And that's completely destroyed by Darwin. If you actually read any book,
Darwin was religious. Oh my God. Darwin was religious. I suppose evolution took, actually, evolution didn't take away his religious faith. I think he got kind of satanic in his religious beliefs, but Darwin was religious. And no, Darwin and evolution will not destroy what we see in creation. As far as us believing that we are intelligently designed, especially when you yourself, Richard Dawkins, already admitted that that's a possibility.
Biobiologist about evolution, it's hard to see how you could fail to be persuaded of it. The evidence is just absolutely packed. There's no doubt about it. It's not a controversial issue.
Oh yes, it is. Oh yes, it is, sir. Yes, it is. You see, Richard Dawkins, there's a video on YouTube with, and for the atheists that are watching this, I'm going to direct this toward you too. You all believe that we share a common ancestor with a fish. A fish is a cold-blooded animal that lives underwater. I am a warm-blooded human being breathing air and not not breathing underwater. I don't have gills. You understand what I'm saying? So in order for you to prove that I'm related to something swimming around in the water, you have to have transitional forms. Something that I know many of you atheists don't have, because I've been challenging you guys on this for the longest, and you still haven't presented jack squat dilly. You haven't presented nothing. Except for, oh, we talked to you about this 1,000 times. Yeah, you're right. You show me your coloring books. You show me your pictures. You show me your imagination. What you haven't shown me is transitional forms. So yeah, it's very confrontational. You have a bedtime story, Richard Dawkins, and we have reality, because we see things designed all the time. It's called Mom and dad having sex, a man and a woman having sex, and then taking half of one's DNA and the other half of another person's DNA and creating a new life. You take on some of the characteristics of the father and some of the characteristics of the mother. Sometimes the child will have mostly the characteristics of the father, and sometimes it'll be mostly that of the mother. It just depends on the circumstances of how the reproduction went. But the bottom line is that for you to sit there and say that that it is more likely that I share a common ancestor with a fish, or that it is more likely that evolution is true, when we see things designed on a regular basis, it's just utterly ridiculous. And again, when somebody shows me the transitional forms, I'll delete every video I've ever made about evolution. But still, no one's got the courage to be able to show me. And I particularly hope they can get a scientist that can do it one day.
It's completely certain. It's as certain as the fact that the Earth and the other planets orbit the sun.
Wow, that doesn't sound like a theory to me no more. That sounds like, see, that's the thing. When you're that confident that you can prove something like that, you got to provide evidence, Richard. And I know you don't got none of that. I went to the Museum of Natural History, and all I saw was a bunch of people's imaginations. I didn't see transitional forms.
More than 40% of the American population, if opinion polls are to be believed, think that the world is less than 10,000 years old. And that's a shocking figure. It shows deep, profound ignorance. It sounds...
No, actually, it doesn't show deep, profound ignorance, sir. See, what happened was we understand that the dating methods that you use to go about determining how old rocks are extremely flawed. And you don't got the foggiest idea. As a matter of fact, Richard Dawkins, I'm willing to bet everything that I own. As a matter of fact, how about this? For the atheist community, all right, I will give away my main channel to the YouTuber of your choice if you can definitively prove that you know how old the earth is without any flaws whatsoever. I can pretty much guarantee 1,000,000,000% that none of them can do it. What they'll do is they give you a number of what they think, whatever their imaginations will come up with. But I promise you, whatever dating method they're using is going to be flawed. And if it's going to be flawed, then you can't tell me how old the earth is.
It's very laudable to teach the controversy, to teach both theories. But there aren't two theories. There's only one theory around. There's only one game in town as far as serious science is concerned. Of course,
only because it's the power of the tax dollar. That's the only reason. You got the school systems because of the power of the tax dollar. You see, you believe in doing exactly what you teach Christians not to do to their children, and that is indoctrinating people. You want people to learn that you want people to go to school and learn your religion of evolution, because I'm not going to call it a science because I've done debunked evolution God knows how many different times on all of my channels. All right. You want to be able to force children to acknowledge evolution as being science and not a religion. I know this as well as most of the rest of the planet knows this, as well as you, Richard Dawkins, that if intelligent design was taught alongside evolution as a possible theory about the diversity of life that we have here on Earth or whatever, or how we all got here and whatnot, you know, just like I know, that a lot of people would drop believing in evolution. They would stop believing it. They would just stop. And they would start, and they would consider or continue to consider the wonders of God and how he went about intelligently making life here on Earth. See, I can say that, and I can say that boldly because I know not you, nor any army of scientists you can go get can show me any transitional forms which will actually prove your point that you're right. Okay? You can't prove that DNA can mutate to the point that you're going to go from a paw to a hand. You can't prove defense because you know what? A canine is always going to produce a canine. A cat is always going to produce a cat. I have on record many of your so-called scientists admitting this. But then we got the confused ones that say that with enough time, anything can become anything. You know, like I said, it depends on who you're talking to and what side of the bed that they actually woke up on. But the bottom line is that is that you can't prove any of this. You're stumped on DNA. You're stumped on you're stumped on the cell. You're stumped on the transitional forms. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go so far to say that you don't even got fossils. What you do have is bones that was buried because of the flood, in which some of those things has been so compressed that we use those things for fossil fuels or whatever, or we find bones that have been preserved because of the way that they were buried, and we can understand what was here before us. However, that does not mean it took millions and millions and millions of years for these fossils to form. That's why I cannot wait to get into a debate with a paleontologist about the age of a paleontologist or archaeologist or both in the room at the same time about the age of these fossils that we're finding and how long it takes for something to fossilize. Or how about this, Richard Dawkins, about how they're finding bones with blood inside the bones? Come on, man, stop it. It is not a fact. That's your bias that you're holding to. That is your presupposition, Richard Dawkins. And if you was in this room, I would presup you so fast to show you that you don't know what you're talking about.
Negative reactions from creationists, but who cares about creationists? They don't know anything.
Creationists don't know anything. You know, there was another gentleman who said something like that. What was it? Wasn't his name Joseph Stalin? Yep, Joseph Stalin goal was to get rid of every religious person in that country and every church and get them all out of Russia because we religious people are irrational. So if you can't get us to convert to what you believe, the best thing to do is to kill us, right? So you can sit there and say we don't know nothing at all. But I know this one woman who claims to be, well, actually, she's not a creationist. What am I talking about? Fiona's not a creationist. Fiona's an evolutionist. Fiona doesn't believe that God created anything. Very interesting. I guess I can't use her as an example. I'm scared to bring up Spackle because she might actually be an evolutionist now too. I know Sabella's probably one now. Wow.
I think it was my father who first introduced me to Darwinian evolution. I was immensely moved by it, and it did start.
So anyway, nobody wants to hear about no boring evolution right now. Again, if you want to see evolution get stomped into the ground, go check out Nephilim Free's YouTube channel, True Empiricism YouTube channel, or go look at GTV, or look at what I've done on my main channel. I've debated the evolutionist, and you've seen what happened to that poor soul when I debated him on this topic. So, which is why you notice I haven't gotten no challenges since then. Like, have you all noticed that? Nobody's challenged me on a debate on evolution since the destruction of that individual that I destroyed in that debate. But let's get back to the actual topic here, ladies and gents. A lot of these people, again, wrongly believe that if you're religious, that somehow makes you dumb. It stops you from thinking, and things like that and whatnot. As a person who's a Christian and is considered religious by non-religious people, I consider myself to not be religious. I consider myself to be a person who has a personal relationship with the living God. But if you want to consider me religious, that's all fine and well. But I can pretty much guarantee you're not going to come in this room and demonstrate that I can't think and I can't problem solve and I can't do things like that and whatnot. And I can't learn quickly. I can pretty much guarantee that. Well, G-Man, we understand that that's true about you. But what about flat earthers? Who says flat earthers can't think? Who said flat earthers can't think? Can you prove that? If I bring Rand in here, or if I bring Pillbox in here, or Teal, can you prove that they don't know how to think? Can you do it? Because you can do whatever you want on your YouTube channel with your echo chamber. Can you prove it in real time? No, you cannot. Because I'm convinced that a lot of these people don't understand what real education is. There is a difference between having an education and having a bias. It's not the same thing. You holding on to this because you don't want to let it go is not the same thing as being educated in that particular thing and understanding all of the ins and outs about it. And as a matter of fact, you can still be educated on the topic without knowing all of the ins and outs about it. But you can't tell none of these people these because they equate, and I'm referring to atheists here. They think that you're educated if you memorize a bunch of facts. For example, without looking on Google, if they ask you a question, and let's say, for example, they ask you, they say to you, well, G-Man, do you know what natural selection is? And you have experience dealing with the person that if you give the definition in your own words, they're going to try to say, well, that's not technically what it is. Then they'll go to Google and give you the technical definition and whatnot. Something that you should have did before you even started talking to them. An intelligent person would be like, okay, I'm talking to so-and-so here. What is the definition of natural selection? And then read it to the person. You can explain it in your own words first if you want, if you feel like that's necessary, or you can go look it up. See, a lot of people go looking things up. The teacher that's teaching you in class is looking things up. They encourage you to look things up. You're not stupid because you're looking things up. However, when you put yourself on a pedestal and you're like all the way up here, and you're claiming that you're God, basically, because everybody else beneath you is stupid. And I mean this literally. This is what you make yourself out to be when you do things like this. This is the height of your pride. You believe that you're your own God. You're your own little deity in your own little world. And everybody beneath you is inferior to you. Only the Christians are understanding what I'm saying with this. Atheists, right over their heads, and they wonder why they get killed in these conversations all the time. But you make yourself out to be some deity while you belittle everybody. Okay, fine. Since you're so great and powerful and almighty, if I ask you a couple of questions, you should be able to answer it. If I come to you and I say, you believe evolution is true? And I'll say, yes. I'm saying that from heaven or whatever, right? And then I say something along the lines to you like, which transitional forms? You have to talk to a paleontologist. I'm all the way down here. I'm supposed to be stupid as a religious person. This person done made himself like the alpha and the omega and whatnot, right? And this person tells me that he doesn't know, even to the point that he tells me to go talk to somebody else. You understand what I'm saying? The only reason this person is holding on to evolution is because his teacher told him to hold on to it. He doesn't know jack squat dilly about it. I heard Dragnut say it himself. The guy I debated. I heard him say it himself. He said, well, I like to thank so-and-so for getting me ready for this debate. Why did you need, nobody helped me get ready for my debate. Why did you have all these people, different people help you for your debate if you're supposed to know all this stuff about evolution? This is what I'm talking about. Like I said, there's a difference between a person holding on to something and claiming it's true versus actually being knowledgeable about it. Well, I don't argue with flat earthers anymore because in order for me to be able to know certain, I mean, I would have to basically get in a rocket and go out of space and be able to say, look, this is my proof that what the earth is. I mean, I honestly don't know, and I stopped caring a long time ago. You know what I mean? I don't argue with flat earthers, but I do argue with evolutionists because I'm pretty certain that what they're saying about evolution is not true, based on the argumentation that I've used in the past. And they'll say, oh, they'll laugh at me and say, well, G-Man, you believe the dog will become a non-dog. When in reality, what I'm saying is that something that is a canine will eventually have to give birth to something that is no longer a canine, no more, would not be classified as a canine no more, in order for their theory to be true. They'll lie to you and say that that's not what they believe, but that's exactly what they believe. And I can put 4 or 5 different scientists on here that claim they're evolutionists that will actually say those things verbatim. Especially when we start getting into natural selection and whatnot and all these things. The environment and how things begin to look different. You start questioning them on that, they'll change the topic, troll you, overtalk you, porn bomb you, do everything but actually deal with what the topic actually is. So anyway, let's see who's watching. Let's see who might want a link to come in here to talk about this. Veckel, if you're watching, I sent you a link already. Let me see who's watching. Okay, so trying to get people to understand there's a difference between being educated and then you just believing what somebody told you. See, if you just believe, okay, Richard Dawkins comes here and says, G-Man, evolution is true, and then I believe him, and that's it. He says evolution is true, and then I believe him. That's called being gullible. And that I am not. That I am not. Ain't nothing gullible about me. I can be tricked. I can be deceived. I can be hoodwinked. I can be conned. But I'm not gullible. I'm not just going to believe it just because you said it. It is a blatant lie based on propaganda from the atheist community to try to convince people that we are stupid because we believe that a God exists. And like I said, I'm still trying to wrap my head around that. I don't understand how they get to that, how they come to that conclusion, and that be logical. Well, you only do things because your God told you to do it. Well, I understand the kind of person that I am and the kind of person that I was before I met God, before I met Christ. I realized the way I was living wasn't getting me anywhere in my life. So now I submit my will to God because I submit my will to Christ and God because I believe that his way is the best way. How does that make me dumb? How does that mean I don't think no more? What? Listen to me. Veckel, me, True, Pill. You ask any Christian here on the internet. Oh, we question things all the time. Like I said, if we didn't, we would just accept evolution because you said evolution is true. And again, Fiona is supposed to be religious for those of you in the community. Are you all prepared to call her stupid to her face in a Google Hangout? I'm serious. Are you all willing to go into a room to call her stupid? Are you willing to tell Holy Spackle that she's stupid? Because this is what you people believe. You people believe that religious people are dumb. But I noticed that when you're in the room with your puppets, with your little trophies like Spackle, and you're in a room with like Fiona, and you're in a room with these other people that claim to be religious, you ain't got nothing to say to them. Fiona's got a PhD. Where's yours? Fiona has a PhD. Where is yours? I dare you to call her stupid. I definitely want the link to that video when you call her stupid. And I want it to be for real. And I want to see her. I want to see Fiona defend herself. And do it to Spackle too. And do it to Sabella too. I would love to be able to see that video. That one will probably get 1 million views after she finishes telling you about yourself. I believe that people do stupid things, but to say that somebody's stupid because they practice a religion, because they follow God, like I said, that's not a well thought out thinking there. I can't get the line of logic. There's like a whole timeline missing there somewhere. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. It's like you telling me that people are stupid. That everyone, check this out. Everyone who does not go to college are dumb, stupid, and gullible. I want you to think about that a minute. Imagine if somebody came to you and told you that everyone who does not go to college can't problem solve, they can't think. I mean, honestly, the way they talk about religious people is a wonder how we can even have an apartment, be able to hold a job or anything like that and whatnot. According to these people, we should be all in the street somewhere eating out the garbage cans because we don't know anything. The way these guys talk about us. But take it a step further though, right? So people who don't got a college degree, this is just an example, a thought experiment that we're doing. Obviously, the people that go to college is going to have a greater education than some people who don't go to college, or most people who don't go to college and whatnot, right? So would it be fair to say that if a person doesn't go to college, are they stupid? Are they dumb? Are they less likely to succeed? to succeed. I'm talking about here in the United States. I'm not talking about the other countries because I know there's a difference between the education in the education system outside of the U.S. versus the U.S. Because here in the U.S. we're being dumbed down hard. If you don't believe me, go look at the go to Jamaica, go to like the UK or something like that, or go to one of these other countries and go look at their education compared to yours when it comes to history, geography, and just things like that in general, the sciences and whatnot, compared to Americans. Go look it up. Go visit these countries and go find out. You'll find out how much you really don't know at the end of the day. Because a lot of the things that we're taught here in the United States is baloney. Oh, America's, we're fighting, like they present America like we're G.I. Joe. We're fighting for freedom over here. No. America's trying to do the same thing that Alexander the Great tried to do, and that's trying to take over the world. That's what we're trying to do. Trying to democratize the whole world. You'll be surprised. Leave this country and go find out how other people view us. Anyway, so if you got the belief that people who don't go to college are not very educated, then what's your opinion of Bill Gates? Bill Gates dropped out of college with about 5 of his friends, and these are some of the wealthiest people in the world, not just here in the United States, in the world. Oh, G-Man just said that. That's not true. Go do some research. He did drop out of college. As a matter of fact, go look at a lot of wealthy people who dropped out of college that are doing just fine. No, they might not be able to tell you what a dangling participle is. You know what I mean? But they'll be able to teach you how to make some money and how to have an organization and how to run a Fortune 500 company without a college degree. And I'm going to keep questioning this until my last day on YouTube. Do atheists understand what education is at the end of the day? And then I want to see them take this claim that's being made that religious people are dumb or stupid. I'm dying for you to do that. Because like I said, I'm convinced. I've been in a room, like I'm going to bring up Dragnut again. I've been in a room with him before, and we had a conversation about education and what it was and what it wasn't, and how a person should obtain it, and that versus a person who's indoctrinated. Because a lot of times, people don't know the difference between a person who's indoctrinated and a person who's educated. I would love to have a conversation with him about the differences between being indoctrinated versus a person who's actually sat down and thought about the topic before they claimed they was educated about it and whatnot. A lot of these atheists, for example, will tell you that they're educated about the Bible. And every time they come into a room with one of us and we start talking about this, they find out just how little they actually know. I get into a room with some of these people and we talk about science sometimes, and I realize I don't know as much as they do when it comes to science. When it comes to other topics, you better believe I can hang with them. Somebody left a comment in the comment section. I think that was Faith that left that there. But it's true. It's not what you know in this country. It's who you know. It's not what you know. It's who you know. And I'll put that principle up against Dragnut. And, hey, guys, I'm going to go to college. I'm going to get an education. When I come out, I'm guaranteed success. Listen to me. Listen to me. If you and I go to a job interview, and let's say you got 40 PhDs, but I know the interviewer, who's more likely going to get the job? It's gonna be me. I'm best friends with the interviewer. I'm getting the job, not you. It's not what you know, dude. It's who you know. So, again, a lot of these atheists, they put so much emphasis, and they should, on a person getting an education, but they should probably know what an education is before they start talking about people people needing to get an education. A lot of them will be like, oh, he misspelled a word, he's stupid, completely being totally dishonest with their propaganda and their lies and whatnot, not realizing that when people type, they type really fast. And some people are lazy about doing a spell check. You need spell check? You can't spell? I'm serious. Some of them think that way. Some of them really think that way. Apparently, atheists, they know how to spell every word in the dictionary. They don't make mistakes when they type. Even though apparently Matt Dillahunty believes I lived at the time in Ivington, New Jersey. I've seen multiple times where these guys misspell something, but I don't say anything. There's a difference between a person who lives his life and shows a person grace versus another person who's a so-called grammar Nazi and needs to point out every little tiny little mistake that you made. And those people are probably virgins and single and probably never had a girl in their life and whatnot too. Bombay Sapphire, yes, I believe Pokemon is evil, and I'll make a video on it one day. As a matter of fact, I'm actually working on a Bible study for that. So, again, I'm just sitting here, I'm challenging this idea that because you believe that a God exists, that you're dumb. Like, they will literally get in a room with you and talk down to you like you don't understand politics. You don't understand like math. You don't understand like English lit. You don't understand like history. Like they was shocked when I actually talked about vitamins and minerals. I was like, dude, that ain't nothing. I'm on YouTube to talk about Jesus. I can talk about other stuff besides Jesus. You just haven't seen me do it. Then they want to walk around here, for example, and claim they're educated about vaccines, right? This is another example of people out here not knowing the difference between being indoctrinated versus being educated. Okay, if you understand the ingredients that they're putting in these vaccines, you obviously have to be educated about what they're putting in these vaccines, and you are seeing studies. And you are seeing examples of people getting these vaccines and they're coming out with autism. They're coming out not being, quote unquote, what we would call normal in society and whatnot, having a mental illness or whatever because of these vaccines. And then people are questioning the ingredients that they're putting in the vaccines. And then studies are being shown that these ingredients are causing your nerves, your nervous system to act a certain way. They're affecting your brain and things like that and whatnot. And you start telling people not to get vaccinated, all of a sudden you're not educated now. Dude, I used the available information. I used the information that was available to determine that it's probably not safe to take these things. I didn't just wake up one day and go, oh, my pastor said I shouldn't get a vaccine. Therefore, I shouldn't get a vaccine. That's not how the world works. That's not how the world works. Anybody can go on their computer and you can actually look up what they're putting in these vaccines and you can find out whether or not they're safe or not. You can look at the studies. You can look at the percentage of people who are getting sick because of these vaccines. That's a person who's educated. It isn't a person who's holding on to like a bias. It's a person that heard somebody talk about it and isn't doing any research. Not doing any research. I still haven't heard Doc Savage correct himself yet about water not being a nutrient. He still hasn't corrected himself about that. Dragnet still has not corrected himself yet. But we're not educated. What about the fact that they keep calling themselves atheists, for example, by denying one God? Well, the most common phrase, and I mentioned this in my other video, the most common phrase they love to use is that I believe in one less God than you. Okay, so when you're talking to a pagan that believes in 500 gods, does that mean that you only believe in 499 of them? And not to mention, you got to remember, the Bible calls Satan the God of this world. So if you believe in one less God than I do, that means that you reject the God of the Bible and you accept Satan? Is that what you're trying to say? A lot of times you'll hear them say things and they don't think about it first, but then will claim that you're the one who don't have any critical thinking. And it's nonsense. It's like, I give God thanks. The Bible says that the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. It's the beginning. It's the beginning of knowledge. You want to grow in your understanding about the world that you're living in? Fear God, which all that means is have a reverential respect for Him. A lot of these guys think that when we say fear, it means to be afraid. Again, showing you that they don't have any real critical thinking skills whatsoever. Nor are they willing to study. For example, God created evil in the Old Testament, right? But when you try to explain to them that that's talking about calamity, oh, you're just an apologist making excuses for your God. No. I studied and you didn't. You don't know what you're talking about, and I do. Go look at the how many different definitions there is for the word evil there, and then go find where moral evil is being talked about, and then go compare the two with their definitions. And you'll wonder, and then you'll find out why you look stupid every time you debate one of us, because you don't know what you're talking about. Guys, I'm telling you, the reason why atheists don't like debating us anymore is because I think they know that that when they talk to us about our Bibles, they don't know what they're talking about. And we have exposed them. Even Floyd, I'll say all of them, because Floyd hasn't even challenged me lately. Even Floyd, I would say. Ozzy Mendez, Matt Dillahunty, all these guys know that what they're getting off of Google or for some website, and that's where they're getting their criticisms from. None of this came from any real thinking. Okay, Irv, the sad catfish. When I get 150 subscribers on the G-Man Debate Coliseum, that's when we're gonna start doing debates there. I only have 50 subscribers there. When I get 150, that's when we're gonna start doing stuff there. Like, I can show you the videos where Dragnut said he hasn't even read the Bible. He hasn't even, no. As a matter of fact, he said that he read a couple of books in the Bible, but then he talks about our faith, and he talks about us in general, like he actually knows what he's talking about. How many times do I gotta call this guy out to come into a room with me and show him he doesn't know what he's talking about before people finally start understanding that? And it's not just Dragnet. I'm not picking on him. This is Steve McRae. Aaron Ross, probably the biggest, is definitely one of the biggest, how can I put this? Aaron Ross operates on pure ignorance when it comes to our Bibles, when it comes to our Christian faith. If I asked Aaron Ross what I actually believed as a Christian, Aaron Ross could not tell you. Aaron Ross doesn't got the foggiest idea what Christians actually believe. Ask him to be serious for 3 minutes. Tell him to be a politician. Tell him to be serious for 3 minutes and tell you what you believe as a Christian. He doesn't know. He's gonna start believing, you believe that it's okay to flood millions of people. You believe that it's okay to destroy whole cities. You believe that rape is okay. You believe that slavery is okay. This is what he's gonna tell you. This dude don't know what the heck we believe. And I brought Vacco in here, a person who's in his 40s and has studied the Bible for a while. And I said Vacco or Matt Slick or any other one of the believers on here on YouTube and whatnot, right? By the way, Vacco, if you're watching, or Tommy Hall, if you're watching, I sent you guys links. If I brought one of those guys into this room, they would be able to tell me what we believe and why we believe it. As a matter of fact, Vecco will be able to tell you as a Calvinist what he believes and what, because he considers me to be Arminianist or whatever. He'll be able to tell you what I believe as well too, for the most part. But if I bring Matt Dillahunty in here, and I bring Aaron Raw in here, and I bring Steph Andrews in here, those three people don't got the foggiest idea what I believe. Dragnet doesn't know what I believe as a Christian. Because if he did, he would immediately expose himself. Because for some oddball reason, atheists got this thing in their head where they believe that Christians think they're better than everybody. This is what they believe about us. They don't got the foggiest idea what it is that we believe. Because they don't listen. And they're not educated on our faith at all. That's why it's our job to preach the gospel so that they will know what it is that we actually believe. But basically, guys, Christians, you are not dumb because you're a Christian or because you follow after Jesus Christ. And no, an atheist is not automatically more intelligent than you because he or she don't have a religion. And yes, you do have the ability to use critical thinking. Yes, you do have the ability to problem solve. I'm pretty sure you knew that before you came to this video. But I believe that some positive reinforcement is good because, again, there's so many lies here on YouTube. Sometimes I don't even know where to begin to deal with a lot of this. Aaron Raw makes his videos. He keeps talking about how having a faith in a God is dishonest. It doesn't make any logical sense. Having faith in anything, for that matter, is dishonest. It doesn't make any logical sense. Of course, I would expect an alcoholic to actually believe that way. You know what I mean? But in reality, in the real world, he can't prove none of that. He can't prove none of it. The man practices and uses faith on a regular basis. On a regular basis. Everybody on this planet uses faith on a regular basis. Whether you're talking about the definition of the claim without proof, or you're using the definitions that we Christians use when we're talking about our faith, which involve, because it's different. There's different types of faith we have. We have saving faith. We have the kind of faith that where we have we have a lot of trust in God based on His word and the evidences that we have around us. A lot of us like to say this when we're describing faith. I wouldn't use this as a definition, but as a description of our faith. That faith is the evidence of things not seen. Faith is the things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Faith is the things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. So I think that's a really good description. And there's also a Bible verse, but it's a good description of what it is that we believe regarding faith, not this claim without the proof. That is Satan's definition. That's the gullible person's definition. And you want proof that atheists use this definition on a regular basis, where they make the claim without the proof? Every time they come out here and they say definitively that there is no God, and then they can't prove it, that's an example of them using that faith. Because they don't got the foggiest idea what's going on over there in Mars. Oh, yes, we do. Well, technically, G-Man, we have telescopes and we have satellites, and we can see the surface of Mars, and we can reasonably come to the conclusion that there's no God there. Okay? And then they'll say the same thing for Jupiter, Saturn, and all the other planets in our galaxy, as well as the trillions of other galaxies that are supposedly in outer space somewhere. Yeah, sure. I'm pretty sure about that, Spoken. So Atheists need to cut this nonsense out, thinking that because they don't believe in a God that they're somehow smarter than everybody. Because it's not true. It's just not true. You know what you know because you've done the research, you've studied, and you can verify and prove the things that you believe. If you believe something, okay, and let's say, for example, because I don't want to automatically say that that's faith without the claim. I'm sorry, the claim without the proof or whatever. But if you believe something like evolution, and you believe that it's scientific, and you believe that there are millions and millions of transitional fossils, and you can't show me one, you can't tell me I'm not educated for not believing it. Because you can't, if you don't show me these transitional fossils, and you're telling me that there are millions and millions and millions of them. And by the way, those bones that you see in those museums are not really fossils. Those are all plastic molds or whatever. Apparently, the real fossils are under the museum. So I guess we're never going to really get to see them or whatever, right? Or be able to examine them to see whether or not the claims that they're making is true or not. Because I believe a lot of these so-called ape fossils that they be finding are nothing more than human remains of them lying and claiming that these things are apes and whatnot. You know, but of course we'll never know it because we're never going to get to see the actual fossils. You know what I mean? G may think they're smart because they have to prove the Bible. G may think they're smart because they have to prove the Bible correct, professing themselves to be wise, they became fools. Exactly. Exactly. If you haven't seen some of the Luciferian videos that I made on this channel, the atheist community believe that they have been woken up. They have been brought to the light. They've been enlightened to the truth that there is no God. That's what they actually believe. And they believe that they need to get as many forbidden fruits as possible and try to get as much knowledge of good and evil as possible. Like, they're not even sorry about that and whatnot. Some of them are so blind they can't even see that when somebody deconverts and become an atheist, they spend the rest of their existence trying to convince people that God isn't real. You used to believe that God was real and you used to preach the gospel and whatnot if you was a former Christian. Now all of a sudden you're living a life that says there ain't no God. Now you're going to devote your entire life. But look at ex-pastor Kevin Wesley. This guy thinks he left religion. This dude went from preaching in a pulpit, Jesus is Lord, to there is no God. 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 And then he's going to say this over and over and over again for the rest of his life while claiming not to be religious. These guys are funny, man. They're hilarious. I kind of wish that I was in a college classroom with them and we was talking about these things, because I would prove so fast and they're not really thinking. Like, it's not even funny. They're not really using their brains. Like right now, right? Tell me this. Do you think that there are better things that the Non Sequitur Show could be talking about? But what are they trying to do every single episode they put on? What are they doing? Every last episode, they're trying to prove that God is not real. Even in the flat Earth debates, they're trying to prove that God isn't real. Think about that a minute. You claim you left religion, but all you do with your life, the only thing you do with your life is talk about God. You talked about God when you're religious. You talk about God now that you're claiming you're not religious. You know what I mean? Give me a break. Your butt is just as you're just as religious as the next person. Non Sequitur Show is slaves. They're slaves of constantly and always dealing with God. No matter how hard they try not to, they can't, because they must. They have to go out there. They have to go out there and prove that there is no God, because they're slaves and they have no choice because they can't stop. Abraham religions make you dumb. Well, Shy Tan, can you prove that? Are you trying to say that that you're smarter than, let's say, William Lane Craig? How many PhDs do you have, Shy Tan? Just curious. How many PhDs do you have? Fiona has a supposed Abrahamic religion. How many PhDs do you have, Shy Tan? Just curious. If it makes you so dumb, where's your PhD at? Because I can name a whole lot of Christians that got PhDs. Where's yours? He says science provides you evidence, but never force you what to believe. However, religions don't practice any evidences, but enslaves you and tells you. See here you go again. You say religions do this, and you say atheism doesn't do that. You're telling me that atheism doesn't go out there and force people to believe in the theory of evolution? I mean, what other system of understanding the diversity of life are our children being taught where they can actually make a decision on how the world actually works? Listen to what this guy says. He says science provides you evidence, but never force you to believe. That's a lie, sir. You guys are trying to force us to believe in evolution every single day. However, religions don't provide any evidences, but enslaves you and tells you exactly what you should believe and never question it. That's not true, sir. As a matter of fact, if you read the Bible once in your life, God actually tells the children of Israel, he says, come, let us reason, saith the Lord. He says, come, let us reason. He wants you to go to him and talk to him. He wants you to question him. So, Shy 10, go read your Bible and stop pretending like you did. He said, so can you prove that God? I'll tell you what, Shy 10, I'll prove to you that heaven and hell exist the day you show me transitional forms. When you show me just one of the millions of transitional forms between a fish and a human, I'll answer that question. I'm not avoiding the question, Shaitan. You don't like meeting your burden. You do believe that you're related to a fish, but you can't prove it. You have a certain amount of faith that you believe that you're related to a fish. That was a theory, dummy, not fact. Sir, let me show you what your Lord and Savior Richard Dawkins said. All right? Because obviously you just got here. So let's play the videos again, because it's obvious you either just got here or you're just being totally intellectually dishonest about what was just shown here. So we'll play this video again. Okay?
I think we should look at the history of religion and be fascinated by it, just as we look at the history of art and so on. But I don't think that religion has anything useful to teach us.
Okay, so he just said that Jesus can't teach us about love. Jesus can't teach us about mercy. Jesus can't teach us about forgiveness. Something that I know atheists don't practice. Jesus can't teach you a thing or two about respect. Let's continue.
One of the main reasons why people are religious is because they're persuaded by the apparent design of living things. And that's completely destroyed by Darwin. If you actually read it.
No, actually, no. And I'm going to say the same thing I said earlier. That is not destroyed by Darwin. Darwin has a theory that human beings are related to butterflies. Darwin has a theory that you're related to an alligator. Darwin has a theory that you're related to a pterodactyl. Okay? Darwin has a theory that you're related to a pigeon. A lot of the animals that I already mentioned are cold-blooded animals. In order for that to be true, that we're related to these things, you have to have transitional forms. You have to be able to prove that the DNA can mutate to such a degree that you can go from being I don't know, a rhino over a long period of time, become a human or whatever, or somehow it's how it's in our family tree. You got to be able to provide this. You got to be able to provide proof of that. And I know they don't have no proof. That's why every paleontologist on YouTube, okay, every so-called biologist, scientist on here that's supposed to be some type of expert in evolution is avoiding myself, true empiricism, Nephilim free on a regular basis. And they keep making lame brain excuses on why they will not have a discussion with us about these topics. Because they know, like we know, that they can't prove none of these things. You have to believe this stuff in order for it to be true. That's all I'm going to show. So Stan, if you want to know more about this, rewind the video, watch this from the beginning, and you'll see me destroy the nonsense that's coming out of your mouth right now. All right? But that was a good try, though, sir. Here we go right here, guys. This is your prototypical anti-theist. He says, burn in hell for eternity, but he loved you. Sounds like an abusive relationship, doesn't it? Let's say it was an abusive relationship. In order for it to be an abusive relationship, Shaitan, hell would have to exist, God would have to be real, and your proposition would have to be true. Now, if you're saying that all of that is true, then what's your argument for atheism? Do you understand? Do you see how fast you just got shot down, sir? No, Christianity doesn't make you stupid. Religion doesn't make you stupid. But if you choose to be an atheist, you choose to be a fool. Because, again, you believe that you're somehow enlightened to the truth that there is no God. Keep telling yourself that. Keep telling yourself that. I don't know how many of you guys saw the show when I was on there with Bionic Dance, and I got Bionic Dance to finally admit that God is a probability, that he probably does exist. You guys would have been rolling if you guys would have saw her saying that. Because I said that, well, do you believe that aliens are likely? She said, of course I believe that they're likely. It's likely that we have life on other planets. I said, okay, cool. So what makes you think that God is not an alien that lives on another planet? And I said it just like that to her. She had nothing to say to me after that. As a matter of fact, when she was going to respond, it was her and everybody else in the room talking at the same time, trying to figure out what to say to do the damage control that they needed to do. It was hilarious. I finally got that girl to admit that God is a probability. Finally, right? Here we go. You believe something that you can't prove, see, or touch. That's dangerous belief. Hey, check this out, Spoken. He says, in Pillbox, he says, you believe, matter of fact, let me get that on camera. Hold on a minute, because that comment is gold right there. Let me put that on the big screen here so that people can see what I'm talking about there. Okay, so I want to show people this comment that this guy made. And it's right here. All right. He says, you believe something you can't prove or see or touch, that is dangerous. I'm going to read this again. He says, you believe something you can't prove, see, or touch. That's a dangerous belief. Really? Really? Sir, before I block you or start deleting your comments, I got a quick question for you, sir. You believe that a singularity expanded over a long period of time. Where were you when that happened? Shaitan, according to you, sir, you say that if you can't see it, touch it, or prove it, that's a dangerous belief. So, sir, where were you when the Big Bang happened? Where were you? look at Christian countries, and oh Lord Jesus, here we go with more stupid nonsense. This guy needs to go back and watch this from the beginning, because I already addressed all that stuff and whatnot. Now he's bringing up, look at Christian countries, look at atheist countries, and then I brought up Joseph Stalin and how he killed millions of his own people in the name of atheism. This guy, it must be rookie season today, huh? Shaitan's a rookie. No, Shaitan. You're gonna be hidden for a little while until you grow up until you grow up and be an adult, dude. Seriously. Oh man, this guy's funny. If you guys want to like bring him back, if he behaves, you can bring him back for my moderators. Pillbox, let me give you mod control, Pill. Let me see something here. Add moderator. Pillbox, you are a moderator, man. All right. I think you're a moderator. You should be a moderator. Yep, you're a moderator, Pillbox. How you doing, Gage? I've been all right. Solar Thunder. Oh, where is the description of DNA in your holy book? Any mention of it at all? You are going to use secular knowledge to tell me that I'm ignorant? Come on now. Okay, Solar Thunder, that was directed towards me. My Bible is not a science book. Are you aware of that? Are you aware that the Bible is not a science book? Like, are you aware of that? Oh man, these guys are a trip in the live chat. Oh, okay. All right. So, guys, I'm going to wrap up this video here. I just wanted to make this quick video and talk about this a little bit. Religion does not make you stupid. Christianity does not make you dumb. People who believe that religion makes you dumb seriously need to go find out what education is. Because I'm convinced that the people who believe that religion makes you dumb, it makes you stupid, and stops you from thinking, doesn't know what religion is. Okay? Most of the wealthiest people on the planet, when I say most, I'm talking about like 98% of them, all have a belief that a God exists. All right? And I don't think you can be dumb and run a Fortune 500 company. Now, when we say a God, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're a Christian. You understand what I'm saying? Because if you was as smart as you claimed you was, then you would be making videos teaching me how to make billions. But since you're not that smart, you're not making those videos. No, as I said before in this video, atheists are really good at regurgitating what somebody told them. They're not really good at really thinking about things before they form their arguments. But if you're a Christian and you're watching this, could you give this video a thumbs up? Because you know that the non-believing world is going to be angry at this video. You know, they got to thumb it down to oblivion. You guys don't mind, just give me a thumbs up if you haven't done it already. And I'll try to make another video on this topic a little bit later, but it's probably going to be on Luciferianism. Because at the end of the day, we've exposed these atheists into the Stone Age. You know what I mean? And my challenge for the atheist community is this. It's for you guys to go learn what an education is. Like, I mean, what a real education is. Not being a grammar Nazi. Oh my God, he forgot to dot his I. He forgot to cross his T's. Oh my Lord. How stupid can these people be? I would never give that person a job because he forgot to put an I on his letter. Oh my, I'm sorry, he forgot to put a dot on the I of his letter. Oh my Lord, he spelled the with 2 T's and forgot to use spell check. Oh my Lord. Again, you knuckleheads need to go learn what an education is at the end of the day before y'all start talking to other people about what it means to be educated and what it does not mean to be educated. All right, so with that being said, you guys have a wonderful night, and God bless.